Hello YouTube, this is Jay, and this is my turtle tank, and I have been a very negligent turtle owner, and I've not given this tank a water change for over 3 years. And people, this is what happens when you get lazy, and you don't do your water changes. You end up with these healthy turtles and crystal clear water. That's what happens, people. So, this tank is a plastic tub. It's a storage tub that you use to store stuff. I have converted it into a turtle tank. It is about 100 liters in volume. I have two southern painted turtles. I believe they are both males, and they've been living here for about 4 years, and 3 years of which I have not been doing water changes. Over here, I have a large piece of driftwood which I have picked up from a nearby river, and it acts as a basking platform, so that's where they bask. And I have a 60-watt spot lamp with just a regular incandescent light bulb. It is nothing special, no UVB, no UVA, just a regular heat lamp. All it does is provide warmth, and I can do that because I have a window here. So this basking spot, depending on the season, gets about 2 to 3 hours of direct sunlight every single day, so I don't really need UV lamps. So, moving on, I have a pre-filter in there. That is a power head with some foam filled in, and it's a 12-watt pump in there, and that pumps water up into the exciting bit, the filter compartment. Also inside this tank, I have several hundred cherry shrimp. You cannot see them during the day. They all hide during the day, and they only come out at night to feed. So you can see I have some fake plants there. It's generally not a good idea to have live plants with these turtles, as they are very destructive and they actually eat plants. So I experiment with a couple live plants, and none of them ended up surviving. So now I just have some fake plants, and they provide a safe haven for all the cherry shrimp that live in here. So they hide inside there during the day, and they come out during the night. Actually, when I come out during the night and shine a flashlight on this, I can see hundreds of cherry shrimp just bolting and getting startled. And those are my two turtles. They are getting very excited because whenever they see me, they think I'm going to feed them. But I actually already fed them today, so they won't be getting any more food. Speaking of feeding, I have a automatic feeder here. Basically, this thing turns once a day, and it distributes all those nice, delicious pellets. And basically, I have this thing because for most of the week, I'm actually not at home. I work away from home, and I only come back during the weekends, so this is a pretty essential piece of gear to keep my turtles fed. Moving on to the filter compartment. So this thing here is why I am able to never ever do water changes ever and still keep the water clean. So basically, the water gets pumped up here, it pumps into the filter compartment there, and it comes out through here. You can see there is a convenient little faucet here, which I have dialed in, and if you look at it, that water drops down every couple of seconds, and that is nearly enough to meet the evaporation. You can see it going again there, and because of that, I only have to refill this about maybe once a month. So that is when the evaporation gets noticeable to the point where I have to refill it. So yeah, I can just not do anything in this tank for months, and it will still be mostly fine. Now, the water gets pumped up to here. You can see under here, the water is getting pumped in. And basically, this white basket here is the mechanical filtration. I have a bunch of foam in here that gets rid of the solid components. I also have some willow moss growing under here. I actually just trimmed some. And this also provides some cleaning for the water as the willow moss grows. And I've actually planted a couple of sprigs of apple mint. They also seem to do well in there. and they also help soak up some of the nasties from the water. And the water basically, this is a 75-liter tub, and it is separated here with a piece of plastic. So the water comes in here, flows through here, and when it hits here, there are these large water bamboo plants. I have, I don't know, 10 or 15 of them planted there. The tallest one is about 2 feet tall, I think. That's about 60 centimeters. Its water flows in here. It gets, it hits all this moss, and the moss grows, and the plants in here grow, and the water bamboo soaks up some of those nutrients. Now the water, this piece of plastic, it ends about here. The water will flow out into here, into this compartment here. This compartment is filled with a variety of plants. It used to be filled, just utterly covered with duckweed, but you can see the duckweed. There's just some right over here. The duckweed, something happened to the ecology of the system. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Maybe some sort of microorganism or something came in and it started eating the duckweed or something. So the duckweed have not been doing well. They have receded to these small isolated corners. I don't know why, but it's just what the ecosystem does. Sometimes new organisms get introduced, and the dynamics of the tank change. So anyways, I still have some Eladia in there, some foxtail, and a bunch of mosses inside there. So they are all growing inside the tank. And another important component of the system is the substrate. So over here, you can see I have some fine gravel and stuff down there. I prefer to have substrate in my tanks. Some people like to have bare bottom for the turtles because the turtles kind of dig up the substrate and it can get messy, but I prefer to have substrate. The substrate here is about 5 centimeters thick. That's about 2 inches, so it's a fairly shallow substrate. Whereas over here, you can see the substrate here is quite thick. That is about 4 inches. That's about 10 centimeters. And that substrate is actually deep enough to create an anoxic zone down here. That basically means down here there isn't enough oxygen, and the bacteria will actually breathe in the nitrate. They will breathe the nitrate, and that nitrate will be converted into nitrogen gas, and it's going to fly out into the tank, and that is called denitrification. So this component, it has two systems. It has all these plants that will suck up all the nitrates and phosphates and convert that into plant mass, and I have a deep substrate that denitrifies and just removes the nitrogen by turning it into nitrogen gas. And once the water circulates through the system, it comes back out here and returns to the turtle tank. So that is an overview of this system. It took a year of experimenting to get to here, and now it works pretty well. So 3 years, never did a water change, and now I don't even test the water. Initially I test the water to see if it was actually doing well, and every time I test I get near zero readings of nitrates and stuff, so I just even stopped testing it. And it is doing absolutely fine. Everything is thriving, the turtles are healthy, the water is clean, the plants grow well. So that is what I do to run my tank. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you later.